Each of us can benefit from learning our own personal superpower. Each of us would love to have somebody tell us that we're valuable and we're special and we're needed exactly the way we are. We're living in such an age of self-improvement and betterment, and we always want to learn more and do more and get better, that sometimes we forget that there are parts of us that are already naturally easy. And when we lean into those naturally easy parts of ourselves, we're able to go so far in life. So each of us was given an astrological birth chart. It's where the stars were in the sky at the moment we were born. And if we look at our astrological birth chart, we can learn so many things about ourselves, including what our superpowers are. So when we're talking about natural talents and superpowers, I like to look to the moon sign. The sun sign is your main sign. That's the sign that everybody knows. That's the sign that says if you're born on this date, you have this sign no matter what year you're born. The moon sign is different. It changes every couple of days, and the only way to know it is to look it up. So what's the difference between the two? Here's an analogy to explain it. You're going about your day, you have your best foot forward, you're conscious about how you're speaking, how you're carrying yourself, and then something happens. Maybe someone says something that makes you feel really small or offended, or maybe you get some news about a relative that's really scary or concerning. Suddenly, you no longer care about how you're appearing to everyone else. You've gone inward and you're just trying to cope and self-regulate and calm down and feel safe. That's the territory of the moon sign. The moon sign is what takes the wheel when the road gets a little curvy or a little scary. So that's why I say our moon sign is where we should look when we're trying to identify our superpowers. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the 12 signs of the zodiac and telling what it means to have a moon in each of the 12 signs. Then I'm going to be identifying the personal superpowers of each moon sign and offering some self-care practices to help you amplify your natural talents. And then for fun, I'm going to let you know a few celebrities that share the same moon sign as you. If you don't already know your moon sign, that's okay. There's a million moon sign calculators online, and I've put one in the description box below. Pause this video, go grab it, and meet us back. If you decide to skip around this video and watch only certain signs, no problem. Just make sure you fast forward all the way to the end when we talk about the astrological houses, because that will affect you too. Starting with sign number 1, Aries. If you have a moon in Aries, you're passionate, you are independent, you like to move fast and get things done, probably naturally competitive and bold. The superpowers of an Aries moon all revolve around your heart. So an Aries moon who is acting in line with a spark of passion is going to go so far because you're not afraid to stand out, you're not afraid to speak up, and you're not afraid to push back. So when you are following your heart, following your passion, you're kind of like a dog with a bone. You're not going to be easily deterred. You're not going to be easily intimidated. I think of Angelina Jolie. She has an Aries moon. And yes, she's an actress and she's a celebrity, but you could argue that her life's work is more the work she does with refugees. At a young age, she figured out that working and supporting refugees was where it's at for her. And for something like the last 25 years, she has been going to the places in the world that a lot of us are maybe a little afraid to go. And she's been witnessing the struggles and the suffering of people that is so deep that a lot of us are too afraid to even look. So what can you do for self-care if you have an Aries moon? So just like your superpower revolves around your heart, your self-care practices probably should too. So vigorous exercise will probably feel good to you. So taking that Peloton class and going all out, or training for a triathlon, or trying CrossFit, anything where your heart is pumping and your blood is moving will make you feel alive. A night out of dancing with friends will probably be really fun for you. And if you are looking for something a little slower and more relaxed, you might want to try getting a deep tissue massage. Okay, celebrities. So I already mentioned Angelina, but Steve Jobs also had an Aries moon, Bill Gates has an Aries moon, and Tupac had an Aries moon. Next up, we have Taurus. So if you have a moon in Taurus, you like to look for the cozy, sensual, pleasurable things in life. You're attracted to things that are aesthetically pleasing and delicious and make you feel good and luxurious. You like beautiful things. You probably like to have fresh flowers in your house. You probably are even a natural foodie and like to enjoy nice, slow, extravagant meals. If you have a Taurus moon, your superpower is that you have an eye for beauty. You know how to look for and find the beauty in the mundane in life. You like to spend the time to get the flowers and put the pop of color and make the meal a little better. And the rest of us thank you for it because you raise the vibration around us in any environment that you go in. Okay, self-care practices. So the sort of self-care industry is sort of tailor-made for you, so you're kind of lucky. But anything like putting a face mask on and painting your nails or deep conditioning your hair, all in the comfort of your own home. Or maybe it's cozying up with a nice fuzzy blanket and watching your favorite movie with your favorite bowl of ice cream, or take the time to buy that bouquet of flowers for yourself and make your living space feel good to you because it will amplify your Taurus moon potential. Okay, Taurus moon celebrities. Frida Kahlo had a Taurus moon, Elton John has a Taurus moon, Zendaya has a Taurus moon, and Meryl Streep has a Taurus moon. Next up, we have Gemini Moon. So Gemini is said to be the perpetual student of the zodiac. So chances are when you were a kid, you did pretty well with homework and with school. Maybe you didn't love homework, but you were good at it. Maybe you had nice handwriting or spent the time to use your favorite pens, or maybe office supply stores was kind of exciting to you. And maybe even now as an adult, you like those fancy stationery stores, and maybe you have a pen collection, and maybe you have a stack of journals that you have but have never used, but you just bought them because they're cool and you want to have them. You might be naturally attracted to things like poetry and short stories. You could choose to be friends with anyone because you are very adaptive and you know how to put different parts of yourself forward to appeal to different groups, but you're really thriving socially when you're with your tribe. Okay, the superpowers of a Gemini moon. So you are a gifted communicator. And you might immediately say that is not true. The Gemini moon experience can be overwhelmingly messy up here. You're an air sign after all, so you can have a million thoughts running through your head at all times. You can even be prone to anxiety because your mind just will not let you rest. But when you take the time to get clear on whatever it is that your mind is going crazy about, it's amazing the messages of wisdom that can come out of you. So you are kind of like the supercomputer of the zodiac. So you can take in an insane amount of information and sort of let it percolate and then spit out words of wisdom for the rest of us. The trick is finding a way to get your words from the air down to the real world. So self-care practices. I recommend journaling if you're a Gemini moon. You might even want to try morning pages. So morning pages comes from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. In this book, she talks about how each of us can get in touch with our inner artist through a variety of practices. But her main practice, and the practice that so many people have tried and continued throughout their life, is the morning pages. So what are they? It's 3 pages of handwritten writing in the morning, preferably, where you just brain dump. It's stream of consciousness. Even if it's, I don't know what to write about, I want coffee, or I'm cold, this is boring. Whatever it is, just get the words out from your head down onto paper. But for a Gemini moon, this can just be a really nice way to get your mind to quiet down. Another really great thing for a Gemini moon is to find a safe space to vent. So whether it's a friend or a spouse or a partner, or even just driving in your car by yourself, talking to no one, just talking through what's going on in your mind, getting it out. Talk therapy is also really great if you have a Gemini moon. Okay, Gemini moon celebrities. Jim Carrey has a Gemini moon. Lionel Messi, the soccer player, has a Gemini moon. Obama has a Gemini moon, and so does Rachel McAdams. Next up, we have Cancer. So if you have a Cancer moon, you are a sensitive soul. Your experience of life, of the world is deep. You feel things deeply. And as a child, that might not have been celebrated in you. You might have learned to feel weak because you're emotional, or weak because you can't just put your feelings on the back burner like some people can. But I'm here to tell you, it is not weakness, it is actually your greatest strength. Cancer Moon is sort of like a nurturer to the world. You heal so much pain just by walking around life with an open heart. You're probably an amazing friend, an amazing sibling, an amazing partner. If nothing more, just because your heart is open, you have the courage to love. And of course, when you love deeply, there's always the risk for loss, right? And that's why loving can sometimes be so painful and so raw. But when you have a Cancer moon, you can't help it. That's just the way you are. You want to give love to people. You want to mother people, even if you're not a woman, even if you're not a mother. And because of this, you heal the world. When you think about every person in life, every person in the world who does harm to others, that causes problems in society, you could probably track it back to the fact that as a child, as a young person, or even now still, they don't receive enough love. And so, Cancer moons, you literally heal society by loving others and bringing love into the lives of everybody you touch. Now, self-care practices are very important if you have a Cancer moon. You cannot constantly nurture and constantly give and not take the time to recharge your batteries. If you are a Cancer moon who forgets to take care of yourself, you are going to feel burnt out very easily. So figure out a way to nurture yourself. Seek motherly energy and motherly care to yourself. Try saying kind words to yourself like a mother would to her child. You're doing such a good job. That was really hard. It's okay to make mistakes. You're doing great. When you're feeling especially burnt out or emotionally raw, you can try asking yourself the three big whats. What am I feeling right now? What do I need right now? What am I going to do about it? Practice actively taking care of yourself. You can't always take care of other people without also taking care of yourself. Okay, Cancer Moon celebrities. Gandhi, of course, Drew Barrymore, Keanu Reeves, Taylor Swift, and Jimi Hendrix. Next up, we've got Leo. So if you have a moon in Leo, you are not afraid of the spotlight. You're not afraid of standing center stage and having all eyes on you. It feels thrilling and makes you feel alive to be the center of attention. And as a child, this might have been sort of shamed in you. You might have been labeled an attention seeker or self-centered, but you're just a natural leader and you feel good when you're standing up and being seen, especially if you have something really meaningful to say. If you have a Leo moon, your superpower is that you are a natural born leader. You are not afraid to stand up and have all eyes on you and stand up for a cause and make change. And people love working with you. People love backing you and supporting you and following you and joining your march for whatever it is you're trying to enact or change. You're a natural performer and you're fun. You probably throw great parties and are a wonderful host. If you were ever a maid of honor or a best man, you probably gave a really great speech at the wedding. So what does self-care look like if you have a Leo moon? Try to find a way to lean into your inner performer. So whether it's going out with your friends to a karaoke bar or just singing loud in the shower and pretending someone's watching you, or getting involved in a local theater, or maybe the next time your group is throwing a fundraiser, volunteer to be the MC. Throw a party and make it fun and glitzy and a little over the top. Look in your community, find something that you're passionate about. Maybe it's the animal shelter or pregnancy center, or join the next march that goes through your town. Basically, find a way to get involved and work your way toward leadership because you will be able to enact great change. Okay, celebrities that have a Leo moon. Let me just say that there is so much Leo energy in Hollywood that it was hard to narrow down this list because I feel like every celebrity has some major Leo placement in their chart because of course Leo is the performer, right? Bruno Mars has a Leo moon. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, has a Leo moon. David Bowie, again, of course. Lana Del Rey, Marilyn Manson, Queen Elizabeth II, and Winston Churchill. That's just a few of them. Moving on to Virgo. So if you have a Virgo moon, you are amazing at managing the details. You are a naturally organized person. You take the time to do things well and to do things right. Your home is probably very clean and organized. And generally, you believe that if people just followed the rules and do what they're supposed to do, society would run so much better. You might be drawn to work in more structured environments, maybe where there's a clear chain of command or a clear ladder to climb and progress in your career. Maybe you might even be drawn to military life. So, what are your superpowers? You have an uncanny ability to make order out of the chaos of life. You probably even start with your home. Your home is like a sanctuary. It's clean, it's orderly, it's organized, and when people go, they immediately feel relaxed in it. You're a naturally good caregiver to your friends and family, and you love problem solving and giving advice. You're really great at cutting through the noise and helping people figure out exactly what they need to do to get out of whatever trouble they're in. You especially love to help take care of people who are low on resources. So Mother Teresa is a great example. She didn't have a Virgo moon, but she had a stellium in Virgo, which means she had 3 planets in Virgo. So Virgo was a big player in her astral birth chart. She dedicated her life to taking care of other people. And Virgo moons might sometimes even sacrifice themselves for the betterment of their family or for the betterment of society. So self-care for a Virgo moon. This might not sound like super exciting, but if you have a Virgo moon, try cleaning out that junk drawer or organizing that hall closet. Doing the things that seem silly, but will make your home neater and more organized and make you feel that you can relax. Organize your schedule with a life planner or a wall calendar. You might want to try having a practice where every Sunday you plan out your week. Come up with your meal schedule and make those appointments you need to have during the week. Make to-do lists and check them off throughout the week. It'll make you feel like you're going into your week with a purpose and with a path, and with a plan. Okay, let's see who has a Virgo moon. Dolly Parton has a Virgo moon. Betty White had a Virgo moon. Serena Williams, Dave Chappelle, and Zoe Kravitz. Now we have Libra. So if you have a Libra moon, you are a naturally easygoing, personable person. You probably pride yourself in your ability to befriend anyone and to go into any environment and talk with whoever's there. You really thrive in peaceful environments. So if there's conflict or tension, you're gonna feel a little awkward and uncomfortable. The Libra superpower is that you have an inhuman ability to recognize the energy shifts in a group of people. So if you're going about your time with your friends and something happens and someone said something to someone else and there's a shift in energy, you notice it immediately. And because you like peace and you're naturally good at mediating and problem solving, you might be the one that goes straight to the conflict and tries to offer perspectives to each person and tries to reestablish the balance that was lost. You're a naturally great advocate, and when someone is being bullied or being taken advantage of, you cannot stand that. If you ever see someone who's excluded, you might be the one that walks up to them and talks to them and makes them feel included. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this can literally be life-saving. So many people who are quiet and are withdrawn and maybe are off to the side by themselves, so many of those people are fighting invisible battles that none of us can even understand. And if you're a Libra moon and you show love to that person who the rest of us just maybe ignore, you might literally save their life by making them feel seen for the first time in a long time, if ever. You are an incredibly good friend. And yes, you can be friends with anyone, but the people you really choose, the people that make up your tribe, are so lucky to have you because you are so full of love and you support each and every person that you love and you stand up for them and help them through whatever conflicts they're going through. Self-care practices for Libra Moon tend to revolve around being with your tribe. If you have a Libra Moon, you probably don't necessarily love being alone. So making the time to schedule those friend outings and those dinners, schedule them, spend time soaking up the energy of the people that you love. And because you're sensitive to conflict, be very careful about who you spend your time with. If you have certain friends that tend to bring conflict or tension, maybe limit the amount of time you spend with them, because remember, you're never going to feel fully comfortable in an environment where there's tension or conflict. So which celebrities have a Libra Moon? Harry Styles, Emma Stone, Kate Winslet, and Ariana Grande. Next up, we have Scorpio. So if you have a moon in Scorpio, you are probably a naturally private person, maybe even a little secretive. You are attracted to sort of the darker things of life, the taboos of society. You might find rebellion to be something that's a little bit beautiful. You tend to be a really real person. You don't want to waste time on small talk and pretenses. And if you're in a space with other people where nobody really has anything real to say, you'll probably just stay quiet. The biggest superpower of a Scorpio moon is your ability to dive deep into the dark. If you have a Scorpio moon, it's possible that you've gone through some hard things in life and you have looked pain in the eye and you realize that it's actually not that bad. It's something you can survive. So you're not afraid to look pain and fear and death and darkness straight into the eyes. You're not afraid to stand up and ask the hard questions, and you don't care if it makes everyone around you feel awkward. You hold your ground and you hold the eye contact with the person and you wait for the answer. You have the ability to heal so much generational trauma just because you might be the first person brave enough to finally feel the pain. And for that reason, you're kind of considered the alchemist or the sorcerer of the zodiac. You're able to take things that are messy and scary or cause suffering, and you experience them and you learn to embrace them and turn them into something better and stronger. What are some self-care practices if you have a Scorpio moon? I would recommend shadow work. It will feel really good to a Scorpio moon to reclaim parts of themselves that have been banished to the shadows. Each of us has parts of ourselves that for one reason or another we've forgotten or have buried, but a Scorpio moon will really love reclaiming those parts. Try to remind yourself that your intensity is your biggest asset, and you can lean into the things that are a little dark and make some of the rest of us a little squirmish. Listen to the true crime podcast, read a Stephen King book, or watch a dark movie. I recommend checking out some foreign movies because sometimes movies from other countries deal with topics that are a little harder to swallow, a little darker than the English-speaking world can handle. I especially think of Almodovar. He's a Spanish director who makes movies that blow your mind because he is not afraid to deal with some pretty heavy themes. And fun fact, actually looked up his astro birth chart and he also has a Scorpio moon. So you're welcome. Okay, so celebrities who have Scorpio moons. Lady Gaga, of course. The Weeknd, Miley Cyrus, and Jason Momoa. They all have Scorpio moons. Now we have Sagittarius. So if you have a Sagittarius moon, the name of the game for you is travel and adventure. So you probably love travel. You might have traveled a lot already or have a lot of dreams of traveling. You like to experience new things in life. You want to experience everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You might be attracted to outdoor activities like hiking, where again, you're out in the world experiencing things that are real and that are happening in real time. You love learning about other people's lives. You want to hear other languages and try new foods and see other cultures. And you're really hungry to glean wisdom from all the people that you talk to and all the different people that you meet. So the superpowers of a Sagittarius moon. If you have a Sagittarius moon, you have an incredibly open mind. You travel the world and you ask the whys and the hows, and you sit back and you listen. You want to know the deeper reason behind why people do the things that they do. and how you can incorporate their wisdom into your own life. You know how to read between the lines and connect the dots about what people say and what they don't say. You're very wise. You're a very quick learner, and you're not afraid to go out in the world, get your hands dirty, and then come back and share your experience with the rest of us who are too afraid to leave home. You believe in a better tomorrow, and you remind us that life is to be lived now, not later, and you sort of embody the whole idea of carpe diem. So what can you do for self-care with the Sagittarius moon? Travel. Even if your budget doesn't allow, try going to neighboring towns or visit that new coffee shop or sit in that new part of the park. Try to infuse your life with new experiences, even if they're small, and take the time to plan them out and actually do them. Keep your life fresh. And if you do have the budget to travel, do so. Plan those trips, have those big future travel goals. And in the meantime, watch things like Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain or Somebody Feed Phil. Read travel blogs, follow travel influencers, and just see what's out there in life and make notes about where you want to go in the future. Okay, celebrities with a Sag moon are Adele, Oprah, Albert Einstein, and Emma Watson. Capricorn. So if you have a Capricorn moon, you are an extremely dependable person. You're an efficient person, and you strive for excellence in everything you do. You give 100% of yourself to the things that you commit to. You like to know what to expect, and it bothers you when plans change unexpectedly. You like to have at least a little bit of control in your life, and so you like to plan just to kind of know what to expect. You place a lot of emphasis and value in integrity, and you always deliver on what you promise. The superpower of a Capricorn moon is that you are excellent in almost everything you do. You might not be interested in achieving just about anything, but when you actually have a goal that you want to achieve, there is literally nothing that will stop you. Capricorn is associated with the image of the goat. So if you've ever seen a goat on the side of a hill standing super awkwardly, but they're super unfazed and they're just eating grass and like totally unaware that they're so high up and can fall to their death, that's you. So no matter what your goal is, even if it looks completely impossible to the rest of us, you're unfazed. You just go straight ahead and achieve it, and you make it look super easy to the rest of us. There's no goal or achievement too big for a Capricorn moon. Self-care for a Capricorn moon looks like having a planner and actually planning your week so that you know what to expect. You can try resources like Notion to organize your work or your life. I recommend establishing a morning and evening routine. Like I said, Capricorns like to know what to expect, and in life, sometimes days get a little crazy. But if you know you have something to look forward to in the morning and something to look forward to in the evening that are the same and that are dependable, you'll sort of bookend any chaotic day and make it feel a little bit more contained. Allow yourself to read good books, whether it's great literature or great self-development books. It's a really nice way to unwind when you have a Capricorn moon. Okay, celebrities with a Capricorn moon. Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Ryan Gosling, and Matt Damon. I just can't with the excellence on this list. Next up, we've got Aquarius Moon. So if you have a moon in Aquarius, chances are when you were little, you did not necessarily fit in just everywhere. You might have felt out of place or a little quirky or a little too weird to be understood. But as you got older, you might have realized that that's actually your strength. That's something that you maybe have grown to embrace. You like to have an alternative option. So if somebody tells you you can do it this way or you can do it that way, but neither way seems good to you, you're going to look for your own way. You're not afraid to walk away from the crowd and do what everybody else isn't doing, even if you're doing it alone. You want alternatives to health, to finance, to schooling, to diet, to any type of lifestyle. You don't want to be confined with what society is telling you should be doing. Your superpower, if you have an Aquarius moon, is that you are able to cut through the noise of society and zone right in on what's real. You will never simply just do what you're told. If someone's asking you to do something and it doesn't align with your values, you are not going to do it. You are naturally intelligent, and your wit and your intuition is a really strong asset. You believe in a better way for everybody. Your dream is that people will wake up and open their eyes and actually take control of their life, do things that they want to do and that they believe in, and not just what everybody else is doing. You have a superhuman ability to shrug off the expectations of society and stay true to what you actually believe in. So self-care practices for an Aquarius moon. Aquarius moons tend to like to avoid feelings. So sometimes an Aquarius moon's mind can be really overwhelming when they're in an emotional state. If somebody said something to you or something's happening that's distressing you, you're not going to just go sit in a room and cry. That's not going to happen if you have an Aquarius moon. Instead, you might want to have a workaround to feeling your emotions where you just talk through your emotions. So whether it's with a therapist or kind of like a Gemini, just in your car by yourself, just talk. If you have an Aquarius moon, it's important that you keep reading and learning about the things you're passionate about. So if you're looking for an alternative to anything in your life, educate yourself, see what's out there. And if there's nothing out there that's exactly what you're looking for, create it. Create the community around it. The Aquarius moon is capable of living a solitary life if nobody else is aligned with them, but they much prefer having a tribe of like-minded people. And when an Aquarius moon is really in their power, they create a community that makes people feel that there is a better way, and that's how systemic change can be enacted. So try to prioritize those conversations with like-minded people where you're discussing things that are really near and dear to your heart, because it'll remind you why you have visions of a better tomorrow. Celebrities with an Aquarius moon include John Lennon, Billie Eilish, Jessica Alba, and Margaret Atwood. Last but not least, we have Pisces. So if you have a moon in Pisces, you probably have a very vivid imagination. You probably have very vivid dreams. You are naturally attracted to spirituality, things like crystals and tarot cards. You might even be a gifted writer, especially if you're writing about something fantastical or imaginary. You're a naturally very sensitive person, and when you're with a group of people for a long time, you might feel really drained and depleted. So the superpower of the Pisces moon is your incredible intuition. The veil between you and the spiritual world and the energetic world is thinner than it is for the rest of us. If you are interested in any of the mystical arts, whether it's reading tarot cards or healing with Reiki, being a medium, or interpreting dreams, all of these things will come really natural to you. You're very wise and you see a lot more about people than they realize that you see. There are times where you just get downloads of wisdom and you don't even really know how, but you just know things. If you have a meditation practice, you might experience that you just have downloads of information that come to you from your own intuition or from the spiritual world, who knows? So what does self-care look like if you have a Pisces moon? It's very important to take the time to recharge your batteries. Like I said, you're very sensitive to other people's energies. So if you're with a lot of people or in a crowd, you're going to feel depleted if you're there for a long time. I have a daughter with a Pisces moon and she's only 3, but sometimes we'll say, "Where'd she go?" And she'll just be in her room quietly playing, or sometimes just laying on the bed looking out the window. And we'll say, "Are you okay?" And she'll say, "Yeah, I just need space." That is perfect Pisces moon self-care. And another thing you could really benefit from is having a nightly routine. So if you have the time, have a bubble bath and just sit in the water. After all, you are a water sign. Find a way to close your day in a very peaceful way. Put away social media, turn down external stimuli, and just be. Let your batteries recharge. Celebrities with the Pisces moon are Kendrick Lamar, Martin Luther King Jr., Robin Williams, Timothy Chalamet, and Audrey Hepburn. So now that you know a little bit about your moon sign, let's add another layer of complication. So each of us has a moon sign and each of us has an astrological house. There are 12 astrological houses and each one is loosely associated with one of the signs. So for example, house 1 is associated with the outward expression, the ego, the individual, and it's associated with Aries. So now what you need to do is figure out what your astrological house is. And to find that, you'll need to know your birth time. So once you have your astrological house, go back and watch the part of this video associated with the sign of your astrological house. Because if you have a Pisces moon in house 1, yes, you're a Pisces moon, but you have a vibe of Aries. So you might not be quite as soft and empathetic and fantastical as a Pisces moon in house 12. And if your moon sign is in the house associated with the same sign, that means you have a double dose of that sign. So if your moon is in the sign of Aquarius in house 11, your moon is going to have a double dose of Aquarius energy. So that's it for this video. If you liked any of this content, consider looking up the moon sign of your best friend or your kids or your partner, and then go back and watch the sections of this video related to them. I love knowing the moon signs of people. I feel like it gives you a look behind the curtain of their experience of life. And it's very important to get to know why our loved ones behave the way they do. For example, if you have a best friend with a moon in Pisces or a moon in Cancer, and they're not returning your calls or your texts and they don't want to do anything with you, maybe they're going through something and they've just retreated into their living space and are trying to survive and recharge their batteries. Or if you have a dad who has a moon in Virgo and he's always giving you unsolicited advice, just know that he doesn't know how else to show love than to try to problem solve for you and push you as far ahead as possible because he loves you. So how'd I do? Let me know in the comments what your moon sign is. I love learning about people's moon sign. And tell me, did I get anything right for you? Did I get anything wrong? If you like this video, let me know. I'll be making more. And until next time, have a great day. Sending you lots of love.